Good morning, everyone. This is Srikanth Rajan, and welcome back to the Stock Market Podcast from MPIinvest.com. So, talking about the markets have been extremely volatile, and the worst part is yesterday it was so bearish. In fact, it was a continuous day of selling. In spite of Bank Nifty expiry, there was not a single rise that happened. The entire day it just kept falling. In fact, at the end of the day, also there was no movement upwards and it closed negative. In fact, last 2 days of gain has been wiped out in just a day. So what a market! I mean, markets are like totally getting unpredictable at this point of time. Though I was expecting the markets to be kind of flat, but yesterday there was not really a fundamental reason for the markets to fall. But of course, FIA selling have been big. So in fact, they've also sold for about 1,800 crores yesterday after a break. In fact, they were buying for a few days and then again they are back to selling. In fact, when they were buying, they were just not buying more than 100 to 200 crores. But when selling, they're selling almost 1,800 crores. So what does this mean? Well, the only way I look at it right now is every time the market is falling because of the FII selling, the entire selling is getting absorbed by the DIA buying. So almost most of it is getting absorbed by either DIA or the retailers, and that way India is actually getting stronger by the day. Now, whatever be the global reasons, of course, the problems are with US. In fact, the interest rates are getting higher, and people are very unhappy with the way things are going on in the US. But then, still, Indian markets are being punished by the FIAs. So at this point of time, only thing I can say is the way the retailers and DIAs are basically buying in the Indian market. Definitely, there will be a point of time when the FIAs think of adding their funds to Indian market, and when that comes, Indian markets are of course getting ready for a big rally. So this is how I would look at it at this point of time. So of course, when is a big rally coming is something that we never know. But then all this fund that they're booking out of Indian market has to be put in somewhere else. And which other market is as strong as India today globally? So in fact, if you look at the last year, for the entire last year, Indian markets have been the top performing markets in the world. So with that, which other market can they get to actually put their money in, and naturally they have to come back. But then they also might be in fear, because how long is the Indian market going to continue like this with so much fund coming in from the retail section? What is going to happen? But then let me tell you, this is just the start, and Indian funds are yet to come. There are more funds expected as we go further, and I'm sure Indian markets are going to rise. But when is it going to happen is a question. Of course, it looks like the markets are going to take a break for some time until at least elections are over. But then on the long run, for sure, Indian markets are going to rally upwards. To talk something about stock specific, I would say yesterday we had results. Yesterday, in fact, we had discussed about Wipro. So I had told you how we had exited Wipro at the right time. I'm actually happy about the decision, and from there we have moved on to a different stock, and that has given us good returns. And people who are still holding, I had told you to be cautious, and I hope you're not holding it because we are expecting a gap down opening, a big gap down in Wipro today. So that is something that's happening right now, because results were not great. In fact, profits have actually come down, and though it is a profitable company, the profits are not in line with expectation, and it's actually come down, and that is something which is not great. So this is how it is. So if you look at the market, markets are getting really uncertain at this point of time. So I would say, of course, it is getting really difficult for the traders with the kind of volatility that's kicking in. But then for an investor, you should actually use every fall opportunity as a buying opportunity. So today, if you look at, so before I talk about today, let me talk about what happened in the US yesterday. So yesterday in the US, as the markets opened, the markets actually started falling. And if you look at European markets, also closed in the negative, and we could see US markets also falling down. In fact, there were some important results coming in the US. It was from Netflix and Tesla. And Tesla naturally came out with results which are not that great, and we could see Tesla falling. And luckily, Netflix came out with good results, and we could see Netflix going up by 12% in a day. A big way, like Netflix going up 12% in a day. That's something that gave some support to the market. But otherwise, in spite of the support, Nasdaq has fallen by more than 1.8%. So overall, entire US markets have fallen big yesterday. Why? Of course, one very important thing to note was that the 10-year bond yield has touched an all-time high. So that's something which is not great. And whenever that happens, naturally people are getting scared about what's going to happen with the market, and that's exactly why people are pulling out funds in the US, and probably that is what is pulling the markets down. But at this point of time, US markets are not in a great shape. But even though results are actually good, but the markets are actually not happening. So yeah, there is an emoji coming in there. So markets were not happy in spite of the results not results being good. So definitely markets were down. So talking about it, the most important thing that we need to look at this point of time is look at again adding funds on dips. Most importantly, those who are into SIP, ensure that your SIP flow doesn't stop and just keeps going up and up. So that's something very important, and that can give you a great return over a period of time. That is what can give you success, right? So that is something that is very important. Apart from that, something very important is, of course, staying invested and consistent investment. That's something very important at this point of time. So that's something we would look forward to. Apart from that, if you look at some important other stock news, so today focus will be on Hindustan Unilever and ITC, because both of these results are coming today, and I'm expecting them to be decently positive. So that is something which probably we can look for a support at this point of time. So ITC has been, of course, at its close to its all-time high. So that is something which needs to be focused on. Let's see how IT's results come. Will that sustain the rally, or will it give a pause to the rally? Similarly, Hindustan Unilever, Hindustan Unilever has been on a constant consolidation for a really long time. Let us hope that the results can actually try to start moving it up. So these are expectations for today. As of now, let's see. And today being the weekly expiry, the markets are going to be really volatile. Any movement in the market will not actually give direction for the week, I would say. It could be more of because of the expiry volatility. So let's see how the markets close today. That could probably give us some direction based on how the markets can close in the next 2 days. So I will be looking at tomorrow than today, because today's movement can be more of because of the huge volume in the expiry trading that's going to happen. So that's it for now. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off. But before we leave, do remember to press the like button if you love the content that we share, and do share the podcast with your friends and relatives to help them learn and invest together with us. Goodbye. Have a great day. Let's catch up tomorrow morning with more details.